Hello, Gabi here, chief editor, producer, primary host, etc. The many hats I wear. I'm also sick this week, so sorry for a little bit of a late arrival of the episode. Apologies. Sorry, I'm sick, everyone. Sorry. Anyway, let me be more enthusiastic. This episode is part 2 of Jerry's retreat to the Dice Tower. And also, the main reason I'm recording this intro is because stay tuned after for Jerry and Evan's discussion. I haven't listened to it. I'm simply going to run it through the noise reducer, and I know there's lots of chewing by Jerry of cereal because he loves to just mess up audio. Loves to just, I don't know. So it may sound terrible, but he wants to record that way. It's going to get posted. But even at that, hopefully the chewing will be not too terrible to your ears. Enticing, isn't it? Makes you really want to tune in. But you should, because I'm sure they have fun. Evan joined him, son of Daniel Hughes. Anyway, that's it. My brain's too foggy to record anything else. Enjoy. It'll be after our outro. Then it will be Jerry and Evan talking about whatever they talk about. Godspeed, everyone.
You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast, a ridiculous podcast with ridiculous hosts that discuss ridiculous things. And any mention of board games is purely coincidental. And so, without further ado, and with a heavy dollop of shame and embarrassment on my part, I give you the Board Game Snobs.
And go.
Hey, I was looking at something else. This is,
Caught you off guard.
this is, no, I'm always on guard. Not like sword fighting, like on guard, not like on guard.
Even though it's spelled E-N.
E-N, that bothers me. That's a French thing. This is Jerry. The star of the show, Board Game Snobs. Send us an email, Gmail, boardgamesnobs@gmail.com.
Kind of sounds like you said citizen email.
Citizen email. It's like Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane?
Citizen email.
Citizen in.
I'm Gabi, primary host of the show, editor, producer, all these things, and
Backup star.
glad to have Jerry back again.
Yeah, part 2. Part 2.
Part 2 of the Dice Tower retreat. But first,
We have a lot of different names for 2. We have deux, part 2,
I don't know that there are different names as so much as languages.
Deuce, Bruce the Deuce,
Deuce.
Deuce swearing.
Deuce isn't, that's more like, what is deuce?
2, like in poker.
I know, but where does that come from? Is that a different language?
It's like I'm sure it's I'll look that up while you're doing your thing. It sounds almost, if the Deuce thing is more interesting than your banter.
What? We just discovered this, what we're talking about.
Well, I know, but we'll just see.
It's got to be a variant of deux, which is French.
Well, I'm gonna,
Dose
don't worry about it. I'm
Spanish.
looking it up. You do your thing.
In the 1800s, U.S. dairy producers would regularly mix their milk with water, chalk, plaster dust, embalming fluid, and calf brains.
Calf brains
to enhance appearance and flavor. You know what this is missing? Just a little bit of calf brains.
I wonder what calf brains taste like.
You should go back in time, drink some milk, and you would know. As well as embalming fluid. Okay. So it says hundreds of children died due to a combination of formaldehyde, dirt, and bacteria in milk. I'm so glad I don't live back then. I'm so glad we presently live in the 2020s, even though these times have their own harshness to them. But I'm not drinking calf brains and formaldehyde because people think it looks and tastes better. Science. Thank God for science.
Science is good. So what was water was milk? Was put with milk, calf brains? And
Water, chalk, plaster dust, embalming fluid, and calf brains.
This was happening when now, you say?
It's a very broad, from Facts Weird, it says in the 1800s.
The word deuce comes from the Latin word dux, D-U-X,
Okay, Latin.
which means leader or Latin, or chief, leader or chief. The word deuce is an Italian title that was first used in 1923. Benito Mussolini, the leader of the National Fascist Party.
Here they are again.
Fascist. Brought to you by Hugo Boss. smell like a leader. We've already got the.
I know.
this
It's
clue.
not going to smell.
And was
I mean, sell.
and was referred to as Deuce, which means the leader. So Benito Mussolini was known as the Deuce.
The Deuce.
He is the leader.
You know who Double Deuce was?
The Dux was also used in Roman army to refer to soldiers who had duties that went beyond the normal rank. In the 4th century, frontier forces were often led by deuces. It's also the name survived into the Middle Ages as an expression of nobility, as is the origin of the word duke.
Oh.
So if you were John Wayne, the Duke, dropping a deuce, you were also the leader.
But why is that related to the number 2?
I will.
If you are the leader, you should be number 1.
I will look that up. That's a good. You're killing it as a host. What happened while I was gone? You're asking meaningful questions. Anything else in your banter?
No. Oh, while you're looking that up, I have another one. Another did you know? After firefighters saved piglets from a barn fire, 6 months later, the farmer sent them sausages made from the piglets as a thank you gift. That's like not much of a thank you. So these firefighters risked their lives for sausages, basically.
2, the word deuce, D-E-U-C-E, comes from the old French word deus, which comes from the Latin duos, D-U-O-S. The word was introduced into the German language in the 14th century, where it was later used to refer to playing cards the value of 2. So duo, 2, deuce, deuce, and deuce, D-U-C-E, are different. So we have just discovered that we in America, when we use the slang term about that you always say,
For deuces.
no, when you say
Dropping a deuce.
you are thinking what word? D-U-C-E?
D-E-U-C-E.
You do? You think that?
Because we call it a number 2.
I know, but you didn't think that until just now.
No, it's D-E-U-C-E. Dropping a deuce.
You sure? Because I always
Yes.
thought it was D-U-C-E.
No, I've never even heard of that spelling before.
Well, you have now.
Because D-E-U-C-E is related
So-
to the number 2.
Do you see the confusion? Here,
I do see.
D-E-U-C-E means 2. That's deuce. But the Italian deuce means leader, which would we typically mean 1. So if we were in charge of something and I was the deuce and you were my executive officer, the second in command, and was the deuce,
Deuce to the deuce.
who's the deuce?
Deuce squared.
Deuce. Get the deuce. Is it the deuce?
The deuce is loose.
So literally, words are so
You
fascinating.
don't want loose deuce. That's a bad sign of your health.
You don't.
But you didn't ask my question. Do you know who is Double Deuce?
I didn't ask your question. I don't know what double deuce is.
Emmett Smith.
Oh yeah.
His
22.
number was 22.
That's what they called
They
him.
call him Double Deuce.
Double deuce. Well, that's good because he was the second best running back at the time.
Yep. Until he became apparently, but just because you ran a long time, I don't still think you're the best.
No, he was second best.
Walter Payton's the best.
Yeah, it would be arguably Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, and then Jim Brown.
Yeah, Barry Sanders was good too.
No, Barry Sanders was statistically the best on a
Yeah.
lot of ways. I will give it to Walter because they were two different things.
Emmett Smith just hung in there longer.
He's top 10. He had the most touchdowns, didn't he?
I'm sure.
I
I don't
think.
know.
I
he
don't
has all,
remember.
he has the most yards.
You've got football in the brain. I don't really watch football, but you've been doing a fantasy football
2 weeks ago, I did a.
where you all just hope that the Cowboys win. Fantasize.
I hope for that as well. Even though they paid CeeDee Lamb way too much money, and anyway,
So who did you fantasize about? No, I mean who did you draft about?
so here's the thing: we have a Board Game Snobs Fantasy Football League in which Tyler from Chicago has got us on this app that I absolutely hate called Sleeper, but everybody else seems to like it. And I'm old. I'm an old person. I've been using ESPN Fantasy for a decade, and this young whippersnapper from Chicago wants to use the Sleeper app.
So I can't draft anything now, can I? I can't join the draft?
No, Jerry, you can't.
Okay, go
You're
ahead.
out.
Okay. All right. I didn't know.
I'm in control of our team.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, who did we draft? Who is the official Snobs approved drafts?
So with pick number 9,
So you
out
came
of
in
a
9th?
10-team league, he just did a random.
You got 9?
I got pick number 9. So they do a snake draft. So if I get pick number 9, then I also have pick number 11.
I understand snake drafts. I didn't until the Dice Tower Retreat.
So with pick number 1, I chose Saquon Barkley.
Who is that?
He was the number 1 running back for the New York Giants, but he got injured and he just kind of has some injury issues. I'm hoping he's in a healthy shape this year, though.
So you
But
picked
anyway.
a person that you don't even know is going to play?
No, he's playing, but he's been injured in the past, and New York let him go.
So where's he at now?
Now he's at Philadelphia.
He's with Philadelphia?
He's an Eagle.
Okay. Just not even knowing football, but this topographically going from New York to Philadelphia, don't they hate each other?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't suspect.
Cowboys, Eagles, Giants are all in the NFC
Okay,
East.
all right. So that sounds
Saquon
That's
Barkley.
a great name. Go ahead. I'm going to Saquon this to something else.
So I'll just give you my team. My quarterback, I somehow got Patrick Mahomes.
My son, Jack, his favorite.
It's his favorite
We
player.
have a calf that we're bottle feeding right now named Patrick Moo Holmes.
That's a good
You
one.
got to meet Moo Holmes.
I did.
Moo Holmes. That
That
is the best calf name I've ever named. It's
That's
also
what-
the only.
That's what Ryan should name one of his calves. This is Patrick and this is Moo Holmes
Does Ryan have calves?
on his legs.
You're right.
I mean, it's kind of a roundabout pun to a different thing, but
But it still works.
it still works.
I sprung my Patrick.
Jonathan Taylor, you don't know him. He's in Indianapolis. He was good again. Okay, here's the thing. So my football knowledge is like a few years ago. So I drafted names I'm familiar with, but they may not be the best.
Okay, so this guy did what for the Colts? Also,
He's a good running back, but he also was injured a couple years ago. So,
what? So was Mahaffrey not open?
He was pick number 1.
Obviously.
I had pick number 9.
Okay.
Debo Samuel with San Francisco. I
Debo!
like him.
Debo, he's receiver, right?
DK Metcalf.
Also Cavs.
He is a beast. That rascal's big and strong. George Kittle of San Francisco. This one was so I was out at a friend's house. We were, out on their porch, having drinks, having a nice time, and I lost internet. And it auto-picked DeAndre Swift, which I would not have ever picked.
That's a great name.
It's a good name for a fantasy player, but he's just not that good.
What does he do?
This is like his 5th team in 5 years.
What does he do?
He's a running back.
DeAndre
Swift.
DeAndre Swift.
It's
Who's he with?
D' Andre
I like it.
Swift.
What team?
He's with the Bears.
Oh,
I mean, I don't think he's a bad pick, but
Okay.
He was with the Detroit Lions a few years ago. He's fine, but I would never have picked him myself. And then from there on out, nobody cares because the defense kicker.
I'm not sure anybody cared for that.
Nobody-
but I did.
nobody
to
really
know
does
our
care.
official team. We will know what will we win.
But I'm happy I have
What-
Patrick,
what will we win?
Saquon, and Jonathan.
What will we win?
Respect.
Oh, who won last year? Wasn't it Tyler?
You asked that question.
I think
and
he
knew.
did. Somebody did win. It was somebody.
Yeah, I think it was Tyler because isn't it suspicious? The guy that wants to use this very specific app for this, he created the league. Oh, he wins the league.
Well, that's not suspicious at all.
It is suspicious.
Well, I don't. Well, he was not. Are you accusing Tyler of cheating?
Suspicion? No,
Okay.
I mean he can't.
Well, he's the Deuce.
He's the Deuce.
He's the Deuce. And now you're going to be the Deuce this year.
I hope to be.
All right. So let's get back. This is part two, Deuce of our episode of where I went to the Dice Tower Retreat. Here's something I learned. Greatly disturbed me that Dan and Evan just said like it was just common knowledge that I should know this. But he said that there are candy shops in Britain that sell like American candy and various other candies. They're not legit. They are money laundering businesses.
Fronts.
They are fronts. And it's like just known. Like it's a thing. Like they'll open up and they act like this business, but it's so that they, I guess,
What are they actually supporting then?
whoever needs money laundered.
Weapons smuggling?
What? No, they you don't know. We've had another episode where I explained money laundering to you.
You put it in the washing machine.
But anyways, that's what they're doing. They're laundering money with that. And I was shocked. So they
Money does get dirty.
So they all thought that all of our candy shops here were places of ill repute for which we laundered our money. And I said, no, we do that with real estate and Bitcoin.
What was that little candy shop you always used to go into at the malls? And they just had like those, you would take a big scoop thing.
Yeah, don't cut out my, I don't know.
Those were, I'm not a big candy guy.
I like chocolate covered raisins and almonds and chocolate covered just about everything.
I like chocolate bars, but I don't like candy.
Yeah, candy, when you think candy, or as they call it, first off, other British words, since we're going on about words, I'm sorry. All the people who hate my weird obsession with definitions of words, I like the British term. They just call them sweets because that just covers everything. If you say you want a sweet, that can be everything.
Could be a Jolly Rancher.
Candy, I don't think of chocolate when you say candy. Do you?
I do.
I don't.
Because I think of candy bars.
Well,
I like candy bars.
But you don't. When I say candy, you're not thinking.
I don't like, like a lollipop or a Jolly Rancher.
But when I say candy, you're not thinking I'm going to hand you a candy bar.
No.
That's the distinction. If I said, would you like a piece of candy? And you're like, sure, I'm not going to pull a Butterfinger out of my pocket and give to you.
A Werther's.
Exactly. A Werther's would be candy.
Mm-hmm.
So a sweet, if you want a sweet, broad spectrum. There's a lot of things there. I like their term. Also, crisps, which are chips to us, got to thinking about that. That makes more sense. Our French fries should be called chips because they're chipped off of a potato. I see why we went, well, chips are technically sliced or chipped off a potato, but we go, well, fries are actually fried. I kind of get.
But I don't even get the whole French thing.
I know. There you go. Is it French? Why is it French?
Why is it French to cut a potato and fry it?
Maybe it's the type of cut. But
it's true. Otherwise, it'd be a waffle fry or a wedge cut fry. Or French fry is that particular style.
French fries are often called French because American soldiers mistakenly thought they were French when they were introduced to them in Belgium. Oh, the Dutch.
Here we go again.
In World War I.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
However, the name French fries was actually used in the United States in 1886. The term's popularity didn't increase until after the World War.
Schwarzenegger is from Austria.
Yes.
That's from. I get those two confused.
That's real close to the Hugo Boss.
Yeah.
The Deuce Boss. The Hugo Deuce.
Van Damme has a different accent than Schwarzenegger.
Our French cologne, Hugo Deuce. El Fashion.
Spelled with an SC?
No. We
should not be making.
Why are we making fascist jokes about cologne?
Know.
That was from part 1. If anything we say in part 2 doesn't make sense, please refer back that we're
serialized. You have to listen from episode 1 to understand all of our references.
Hard virgin to cereal. You know who's a serial killer?
Evan
loves the Charms. He loves the Lucky Charms.
I don't know that I've ever had Lucky Charms, but I know they are marshmallows.
2 family packs.
Not necessary.
2 family packs.
Does he eat them raw without milk?
He's milked. He loves the milk. I did Frosted Flakes.
2% whole milk,
also,
1%.
Bruce the Deuce, Special K. That's what we call him, Special K. Also, because he carried around a box of Special K with him.
Really? That's a weird cereal to carry around.
I think it was given to him by somebody else, and we were playing Sea of Legends, and his captain's name started with a K and was very hard to pronounce, and so he just called himself K, and then he said Special K. And so that's how, and then he started attacking everybody, so I made a joke about him being a serial killer, and it became Special K. There you go.
Okay.
Thus this joke, which is why I hard merged that into cereal.
It all makes sense now.
Very quickly. Shout out to Special K.
I like Cocoa Puffs by themselves.
I know. Just by themselves, not mixed in with anything?
I have no milk necessary.
Oh, you just like the puffs?
Yeah, it's just like chocolate crunchies.
Is cereal without milk?
Well, then it's just a snack.
No. Cereal can be a snack. Is cereal technically something you must add in with milk to make it cereal?
No, because they call the box that you're purchasing cereal.
Correct.
Milk not included.
But you also, there's a lot of things that you buy this is this thing, and you need to add something with it.
Ramen, you need water.
Correct, but it's still ramen. The adding of the fluid doesn't change what it is. We do specify, though, if I would say, do you want some cereal? You're assuming there's milk.
I would presume.
I have to say,
based on knowledge.
Dry cereal to specify. Like this coffee's always hot. It should be. But iced coffee There you go.
Or when you say coffee, I'm not thinking of the bean. I'm
Correct.
thinking of the liquid.
So is cereal without milk?
Yes.
I'm going with you on this. I will say yes. I think that there are many people who enjoy dry cereal.
Some people imbibe in just reaching their hand into the box and pulling it out and chewing it.
I don't. Except Chex Mix.
I don't either.
When
Except
Chex Mix
Cocoa
becomes
Puffs.
Chex Mix. But
Well, there would have to be one of those sugared cereals. Fruit Loops, Corn Pops, honeycomb.
my dad used to eat grape nuts dry.
I saw this humorous commercial on Instagram for grape nuts, and it was perfect because it's like, what? You're just chew on some glass while you're at it.
It is. My dad used to threaten people by telling them that he eats his grape nuts dry just to let them know what they're dealing with.
Makes sense.
Okay, so I'm sorry, you're hosting, so you have to ask me questions regarding the con in a fashion that seems logical.
Okay. So you arrived. I've asked you about food.
Yeah.
We went down a cereal wormhole. Drink, did you imbibe?
I bought some Guinness because I just assumed that would be like a thing. I was trying to be all proper with the British folk. I was sleeping on their couch. And that's about it. I just drank a few Guinness.
Well, that's good.
I missed out with Mr. Knapp, Jeff Knapp. I didn't get to get with him. We were gonna go get a drink, a proper drink.
You didn't.
I did not. I feel bad about that.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Okay, so that's food. That's drink. Let's see. How about the sleeping accommodations? Were they well?
Yes, I loved my little pull-out couch for futon. I liked it a lot. It was very comfortable. If FYI,
Does Dan snore?
That's personal, and I don't feel like I
Does
should.
Evan snore?
That's all personal. I will not talk about my BFFs.
Or any farts expelled in front of each other?
Why are you? See, you're turning back into this. This is why I did that little prelude about your hosting abilities, how good they were part one.
No,
now you're just tanky.
No, I just on a personal level, when you feel comfortable around somebody,
Evan loves tanks.
you fart.
Actually, who says?
It's a thing.
Just because you off gas?
You've expelled gas in front of me, and I accept it.
I do it for comical reasons. All right.
And I don't fart in general.
For a large man, that's kind of odd, don't you think? Perhaps that could be part of your problem.
Well, I don't know.
It could be that you are not obese. You are just like
Full of gas.
Remember, like Willy Wonka, the blueberry girl? Like she just kept getting bigger and bigger?
Perhaps.
This could be it.
Although Evan and Dan would call it Trump. That's what a fart is in England.
Now listen, Dan doesn't listen to our podcast, but one of my favorite Dan Hughes stories on one of his mini podcasts, I don't know if it was the Chaos Order one or the board one sporadically, whatever, but he told a story about he stayed at somebody's home and the individual would always wake up in the morning and fart really loud every morning. And the guy got up every early. And then when he'd do it, he would yell. And I heard this years ago. Dan said this on a podcast, and it immediately, to this day, it stays with me. The guy would yell, "I trumpet the dawn." And that quickly became my favorite. Like, I trumpet and it was just anyways.
That's a good one.
This has gone way. See, our part one was really classy and it went really well. And you've tanked us. You've tanked us.
Well, we started off talking about Deuce, so what more fitting it could not be, actually.
Well, I have a list of games that I played. Is there a way you could ask me a question that would get me into talking about one of them? I want to be baited into talking.
Best game that starts with a B. That's a thing.
I played Biblos. That's the only one I played with. And I played that played that with Deuce, Bruce the Deuce, swearing.
What genre of game did you play the most?
I would say set collection. Indeed. Marvel Comic Collection was the very first unofficial game I played. Hunters, I'm sorry. Comic Hunters. The components are not great, but they spend all the money on the IP, I believe, of the comic books. And then this game, all that you're doing, it's a drafting game, but they do, I'm not big into drafting games, but what they do is that they do different types of drafts. So there's like which you would think would be like, what kind of drafts are there? Well, they have one where it's like you're bidding, I believe is one that everybody's kind of bids to take this one card or this card. There's one where they do you remember the painting game that was done by Bruno Cathala, the very beautiful one, our first BGG.
Yeah.
What's the name of that game? It'll come to me here in a moment.
Kurosawa? No.
No,
That's the director.
that's the director.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like one of Jack's favorite games.
Yeah.
It's the painting game that was by Elo, and it had the beautiful artwork on it.
It's with a K. I'll look it up.
It will come up. I don't know if it is a K. I think it's but anyways, special K.
Apparently, I don't have games with a K.
This Bruno Cathala Elo game. Either way, there is a mechanic there where you put out a card or you take all the cards on the column. And so it's like this thing of, I want to put out a card, but I also want to take a bunch of cards. And you don't want to give your opponent something else, because when you put out a card, you don't take a card. And so that goes around. So that's like one of the mechanisms. There's also this weird little square game where you're moving cards around and try to take all the cards of a certain type of comic out of the row. So it's just it won't bore you with the details, but it's a bunch of different drafting little mechanisms. And you're collecting, and then at the end, you're like, here's my set of it has Hulk. I collected a lot of Hulk. And if you collect a lot of Hulk, you get multipliers and things of that nature. Or I collect a lot of Iron Man, and you're trying to decide which one is the mechanisms in the game is very good. I actually enjoyed this game. Again, I don't know Marvel. I don't watch any of the Marvel stuff. I'm not a fan.
It wasn't too basic for you?
No, it actually was not.
Huh.
And it was, again, I don't really like drafting that much. I do like set collection a lot. And I'm not a fan of the theme, but the idea of this could be re-themed as anything. Could have been albums, could have been anything. They just went this route because people love Marvel, and it made sense. And the comic book thing makes sense.
Well, I had that game Vinyl, where it's very...
That was too basic.
Yeah.
This, because of the various different ways you draft, that's very good. And then the cards that you draft also are money, and you have to expend some of that sometimes to buy stuff, to pay for the cards out of your hand. So after you've done all this massive drafting, you have all these cards, and you have to pay for the ones you play. It was, you could see where this would have been a very, very basic game, and they went, let's not make this entry level. Let's gamify it. Just kick it up a notch. And they did. Components aren't great by any means. They're really bad, but they spent all their money on the actual comic book covers. And
the game you were thinking of is Kanagawa.
I would buy this game, this Marvel Comic Hunters. It's that. Enjoyed it. Very cheap too. It's like $25.
I would like to play it.
I think
it's been all the rage.
I think you would enjoy it. I think the whole comic book thing would get you too.
So you played Marvel Remix and Marvel Comic Hunters.
Yes, I did. And Biblios, which was, some of people's favorite games, and some people don't like it.
I like Biblios a lot, even though we've only played it one time. Let's see. I asked you your genre, set collection.
Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of different set collections. Ones I did.
Let's see. What's another interview question I can ask?
I will help you out.
Okay.
By hard merging into, you said Kanagawa, which is Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I'll segue into that to 2, maybe more than that, Japanese style games, which I played. Japanese style, Japanese themed. Hanakanoji, which we love.
You're saying that wrong.
Hanakanoji. What's his name?
I think
Dan.
it's Hana Makoji.
You're all right. Hana Makoji, which is, we have talked about being one of our favorite 2-player games. We're the one where you have geishas and you're trying to win their favor. They've rethemed it to something else now, because everybody thought that going after geishas was kind of creepy. But anyways, to each their own. It is kind of creepy.
Jixia Academy.
Jixia Academy.
I'm sure that's not the proper way to say that.
Either way, played that with Evan. Went over well. But let's go to Japan. This is probably my number 3 game of the con. I'm saying ranking them. Like Arcs was my number 1. Let's go to Japan's another one I'd love to get. It is a drafting game. And I would have never thought again this simple. And it's a very simple mechanic. The mechanic is all right. I love it when people say, let's take this theme, and this theme is going to be something mundane and boring, or something that people typically hate. What are you looking up?
Nothing. No, just do what you're doing.
You're punching buttons over there and not paying attention.
No, I'm listening.
You're not paying attention to what I'm saying. I want to know what you're doing.
I'm looking up games you play that you posted to our Facebook group.
I've already done that. Put it down. I have a list.
I'm a grown man.
I have a list. You're not paying attention.
I'm listening to every word you say, just hanging on the edge of my seat.
All right. I'm going to do what Mike DeLisio taught me. I was too busy answering your frequent text messages while Mike was teaching a game, and Mike just kindly, he didn't do what I do, and that's a terrible picture.
Nice picture.
You're looking at your phone and not in the conversation.
I'm listening. I can multitask.
No, I'm going to wait until you put your phone
up. Okay. There's down.
That works. See, Mike had to do that to me because you caused me to break my one pet peeve of people looking at their phone and not paying attention. And Mike just very calmly, I'll just wait till you get done there, Gary. And I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. Instead of me just normally what I would do is like put your phone down.
You yell at me.
I yell at you.
Wow.
So see, I've now taken. Did you fart? I've now taken on Mike's thing of just. I'll wait on you.
I guess I'll wait until you're done doing what you're doing.
No,
now I'm listening.
Okay. Do you want to hear about Let's Go to Japan?
Yes.
So I have your attention. Okay. So Let's Go to Japan.
No, you don't.
As an AEG game. No, you might remember a friend of ours really likes this.
Yes.
Who?
Cheshire.
Cheshire has gone to Japan. And
multiple times.
Let's Go to Japan, like I was saying about it being a mundane game of just like this thing that everybody hates doing. You're planning a trip. You have a calendar that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way through Sunday, and you're just drafting cards and going, okay, I'm going to do this on this day.
You're adding things to your schedule.
That's it. It is the most...
You're what do they call those when you call a person? They're not so popular these days.
Agent.
Travel agent.
No, you're not. You're planning yourself.
Huh.
It's very boring thing, and it's a very boring mechanic because all you're doing, you're either going to go to Kyoto or Tokyo. There's 2 piles of cards, and you're going to pick 2 up, and look at them and go, I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to give this one to this guy.
So with those, they just took the same letters and rearranged them. An anagram.
Okay. Thank you. And so you pick that up.
Yeah, I just now thought about that.
They
have another city called Yakote.
I forgot my coat. Whose coat? Your coat. But you just pick up a card and go, I'm going to put it here. That's not an interesting mechanic.
Okay, so what makes it interesting?
What makes it interesting? Oh, let me tell you.
All right.
So when the game begins, you randomize and put out on each day the main thing you want to do. So everyone just drops these little discs on there, and one of them is like, I want to go see temples. Another one's like, I want to go to the park. And the other one's like, I want to go shopping, and I want to do these things. And the cards all have these symbols on them. And it's like, so this day, this has got some like shopping here. So I want to put that on this day. And if you match those symbols up, they help you out a lot because you get bonuses. But the colors of the cards were Kyoto and Tokyo. When you're planning your day, if you go, I'm going to go to Kyoto and go shopping, and then on Tokyo, this card's good. I'm going to go to Tokyo on this, put it on the same day. Now you got a problem because you have to travel because you're going to have to take a train. And to get trains are the things that you either get through bonuses by matching things or through having to take a penalty. So you have to plan your route very efficiently. So maybe you don't go to Kyoto at all. Maybe you just stay at Tokyo. Or maybe you plan to where you can travel back and forth on a train. Or maybe you just decide you want to spend a lot of money and put all these things down here. And at the bottom of the card, it has this bonus thing that you'll get if you meet these requirements of all these various symbols. These bonuses are what you're trying to fulfill. And you can only put 3 cards down per day unless you get some sort of weird bonus thing. And when you lay the cards down, you can either put a next card behind it or on top of it to cover it up. So all you're doing is the simple drafting mechanism, just picking up cards is nothing. It's just what one do you want to do, but it's how you place it and where you place it and thinking ahead about, this card looks good here. It's very quaint. It's very beautiful. And it makes this game has to be played twice. Because after everybody tells you how to play the game, you're kind of lost because you're like, how does this score? Well, why would I boo? Everybody does. Every time I've played it, the only person for which I did not see had to play this game twice, because you play it through it once and then now you understand it, you replay it, was Dan Hughes, who rocked it out. Dan understood initially because Dan does a lot of mundane, boring things, I think, and he's just professional at it, and he just knew, this means this and this means that. And Dan tore it up and really liked it. I think Dan's the planning type is what I'm saying. He probably has a planner and plan. I'm talking about
I have a planner.
But you don't plan anything.
I write stuff in it.
Yeah, but you don't do it.
But I write it.
No, but you write it. But Dan plans it and does it. And Dan did that very efficiently in Let's Go to Japan, which is my 3rd favorite game of the con and one that's on my approved list to purchase. I liked it that much. It is very beautiful. The artwork's amazing. And it's just, there's a bunch of little expansions, I think, that come out, and it's going to need an expansion. But it's just one of those quaint, calm games. Again, drafting. Who would have thought?
It's all the rage. And you used to hate drafting.
I hate drafting, because speaking of hate drafting, I played a game of Wonderful World with some people, taught that, and hate drafted.
Did you win?
I'm ranked in like the top 100 players on BGA. What do you think?
So
I did teach the game and then didn't point out how much I love the game, and I hate draft. Evan was doing really well, and I had to hate draft him, which is one of my favorite terms in board gaming, to draft something out of hatred to keep the other one from getting it. So, yeah. So that was that. Let's see. Japan, and we did Hong Kong, and let's see. Yeah, that was pretty much all the drafting stuff I did. And
that'll do it for this episode then, unless you have another game.
How
many games you got left?
I got a bunch.
Okay, we'll go ahead with 2 more.
Okay, I played Modern Art, top Modern Art with Dan, and Mark Stang. Dan did really good at Modern Art.
You said Mark really weird just then.
I was trying to think of his name. I was fighting for it. I thought it was Matthew, but it's Mark. Dan gave me my first loss in Modern Art.
Wow.
But I taught it, so it's massive asterisk there on that loss, because I never lose Modern Art, even when since I teach it, I'm more about teaching it, and now you're kind of distracted. But Dan did beat me at Modern Art. Massive asterisk on that window. And we also played Godfather with the Deuce and Evan and
Who are we
Jason.
calling the Deuce again?
That's Bruce the Deuce.
Bruce the
I haven't
Deuce?
told you about Bruce the Deuce.
You said Bruce Special K previously.
Well, Bruce the Deuce, but then he became Special K.
Swearing. Like sweaty balls.
I swear. Yeah.
Okay.
We played The Godfather. That was good.
Who won?
I lost to Evan. Evan
Sarah?
blew it out. Yeah, Evan knocked it out.
Evan, Dan Hughes' son.
The son of Hughes.
Son of Hughes.
And then
First of his name.
I taught him Yokohama, me and Dan, and swearing.
My favorite game as of 2022.
I brought that up. I said, I talked about Gabi on that. Taught that, and I can't remember who won that. I don't think it was me, though. I think Dan might have won that one, too. That was a big hit. Yokohama still holds up. And let's see. I told you about Escape Alien game.
Now, I don't know if you told it on this
The
previous
Escape
podcast.
from the marker game, was it called? The
Escape from Aliens in Outer Space or something.
The OG game where you have the little white. You're marking on this little white eraser board, and basically it's a hidden movement game where some people are aliens, some people are people, and you're trying to get to the escape shuttle, and everything's like A, B, C, and then numbered, and you're like, I'm in grid A1, and that's supposedly where you're at, but every time you move into certain spots, you draw a card. That card lets you know, you can tell the truth, or you can choose to lie.
It's been a long time since I've played it.
You just move into an area, and if it's a silent area, you go silence in all sectors. And if you move into a loud area, you have to draw a card, and if it tells you to tell the truth, you have to tell the truth. And if you can lie, then you lie. And so you're basically trying to get people wondering where you're at. You don't know who's a human and who's an alien until they start attacking, and it gets crazy. We played that with Joey Evans. He really loves that. Joey Evans.
The Magic Man.
The Magic Man. Is he in the Magic Man?
Osprey Games is OG. You're not just talking about like, this game's OG.
Everybody who listens to this podcast knows that OG means Osprey Games.
I'm just clarifying in case we have a new listener.
I played the Kinderspiel or Spiel des Jahres game that has been around forever that I never played, Broom Service. I played that with Dan. Evan taught me that. Evan loves Broom Service. This game is...
He's a fan of sweeping.
Dan swept us on this one, too.
Swept the floor with you.
This is a goofy game of this. You play a card and you say, I'm a brave fairy gatherer. And basically all you're doing, you're collecting resources, taking them to a castle and dropping them off by moving your little guy across the board. But you have to play a card, and you can either play bravely or cowardly. And you declare that if you're doing it bravely, you get to take the top action. But if anybody else in the table throws their card down and says, I'm doing it bravely, you don't get a turn. It stops your turn, which is a faux pas in most games. But in this game, you have 10 cards. You only use 4 of them each round. And so you're trying to anticipate what everybody else has. And so if you're afraid that somebody else has that card, you say, I'm a cowardly gatherer or whatever, root gatherer. And you can only do like half the action.
Did you like it?
I would never have. I love, this game needs to be,
Wow.
It was.
Look at you. You're speechless. Stumbling over your words.
It's an old game. I've seen it, and a lot of people really liked it. And I'm like, I didn't care. But Evan kept going on about it. A lot of people have gone on about it.
I'm just not a fan of brooms.
I'm not either.
So I've kind of veered away from it.
I'm not. I'm more of a mop guy.
I'm more of a vacuum guy.
Let's see. I got a bunch of,
Although I do like a push broom. I don't like the kinds you use the whole sweeping motion.
Push brooms are though for more wider areas.
I know, but they're just more efficient to me.
They are more efficient.
I need them for like my carport.
Yeah, but you can't push broom in your home.
That's true. You kind of have a hard time getting into the crevices and nooks and crannies.
I do neither. I have a Roomba.
But see, that's round. How's it get into the corner?
It does, because it doesn't have to. You don't sweep in the corners hardly anyways.
That's where I almost always sweep.
There are no
exclusively.
There's no corners in your house when you think about it.
Sweep in the corners.
There's no corners in your house. What do you
mean?
You've got stuff. You've got stuff everywhere in the corner of all your stuff.
Right, exactly, and I need to get in that corner and clean it.
But you don't. You have shelves that you're not going to move in the corner.
But the shelf creates a new corner. There's a corner right there. I'm looking at it. Needs to be swept.
No, I guarantee you have never swept that corner.
I have.
You are lying.
I sweep it every day.
You do not.
Because I love sweeping.
You do not.
Even though I'm anti-sweeping. I'm a vacuumer.
All right. So the next episode, we'll talk about mixtape.
I said 2 more games, and I think you mentioned like 6. But that's fine. We have a lot to get through.
I'm a renegade.
You are. I'm a paragon. And for that reason, we must end the show.
Now,
exactly.
All right.
Thank you for tolerating this episode of the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.
I think that's going to work. Okay, so you just have to say go, and then I'll start.
Okay.
I'll give you some cereal.
Go.
You're supposed to go. And go.
Okay, cool. I'm going to wait until you stop eating cereal.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
And go.
Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. This is the star of the show, Jerry, and typically Gabi introduces himself.
Oh, and the actual star of the show, Evan.
Evan. Yes, so typically when I can't do an episode, Dan Hughes comes. This cereal is good. No, Dan Hughes will fill in. But since I'm at the Dice Tower Retreat, and I'm staying in the hotel room with Dan Hughes, the internet legend, and his son Evan, and Dan is downstairs playing some game with Mike Delizio and didn't have time to podcast with me.
Disgraceful.
So instead, so when I'm not available, Dan fills in for me. And when Gabi's not available, then Evan will fill in for him. So we're just doing this. So Evan, who I have been playing games with the entire time here at the retreat, he's filling in for Gabi because Gabi's back in Texas.
Some would argue more successfully than Gabi's ever really produced. The standards are dropping, and I think it's his fault.
I think so too, because since being here, list the games we've played.
Well, I've played. That's not the right one. I've played Last Light, 16 players. Red Cathedral, 23 Knives, which is a new game by A to Zeb. Remix, Modern Art, Nvidia, I think that's how you say it. Pompeii, Arcs. In other words, I've played a lot of games.
As have I. I've won most of them, except
arguably
some of them. But needless to say, what's the best thing about the Dice Tower Retreat so far?
Well, it's real friendly. Everyone kind of knows each other. We've been pretty much like trading between 12 different people and just having a mixed match group. I've got a couple henchmen in terms of Bruce swearing.
Bruce swearing.
Yeah,
there's a guy.
No swearing in front of swearing.
No swearing. Bruce swearing has been he taught you how to jaywalk.
Yep. successfully, may I add.
Yeah.
No cars hit.
Yes, we played Frogger, real life Frogger game, as we are in Orlando, and across from the Royal Carib, there is a CVS which we frequent for Twizzlers, because apparently Twizzlers are not a thing in England.
No, and my goodness, does my father love them?
Yes, he loves Twizzlers, Top Ramen, and Lucky Charms. Apparently, that is the
Lucky Charms are mine.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I'm eating now. And the Diet Coke. I forgot about Diet Coke.
That's a well kept secret. I think that's an inside scoop.
Well, Gabi is an excellent editor.
Yeah,
For the audio, and so typically he doesn't encourage me to eat during the podcast. But my favorite thing is to kind of do. Do you know Brad Pitt?
yeah.
Okay. If you'll watch Brad Pitt's shows, he always eats in his movies.
Yeah.
Ocean 11's, he's eating nacho. He's always doing. I'm kind of like the Brad Pitt of board game podcasting. I like to eat while I'm podcasting.
Yeah, I feel like you capture the essence.
It does.
Brad Pitt with his cool like steaks and stuff, and you sat here munching on your Lucky Charms.
Well, you brought these Lucky Charms, and have not you've been eating too many of them. This is your second box at least, family size.
Yep.
You've enjoyed many a family size treats while you're here,
Yep.
or sweets as they call them.
Yeah, sweets. That is right.
You discovered that there are large bags of M&Ms that come in like 8-pound bags of M&Ms.
Ridiculous. I think I've packed on the pounds, man. It's bad.
Welcome to Florida. So far, what's been your favorite game?
I think the large like mega game version of Last Light. So Roy's basically just slapped 4 boards together, called as many people as he could round, and just had an absolute mess of a game.
Yeah, it didn't look entertaining. That looked overwhelming to me. But it looked like y'all were having. You come in 4th or something, didn't you?
Yeah.
You come. That's my number one game so far has been like a tie between Arcs, the new Cole Worley game, which I taught you.
You've played it about 5 times.
I played it now. Yes, it is. I can tell by the fact that I was taught this game, then immediately taught to somebody else, and I've continually played this. Yes, I'm quite obsessed with it. And another game for which I've played multiple times at this con and look forward to playing it again today is at Zuvadis.
Yeah, Zuvadis.
Yes, the Reiner Knizia pure negotiation game with the anthropomorphic animals.
Yeah, reskin of an old game apparently, according to Jason Levine, name dropping.
Yes, so we've played many games. Yesterday was my Dice Tower day, so all I played, and I didn't mean to do this. I was invited by these people. They came to me to play games, and so my first game was with Mike Delisio, and then as I left, I ran into Tom, my dear friend Tom. He was playing a new Stephen Finn game just come out, and I played that with them.
My God, are you guys close?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
You've seen. We went out to eat. You were with us. We went and got root beer and ate
sharing bread.
Yes, as breaking bread. Yes, as they say, breaking bread. Yes,
my bad.
Yes, great. We did that, and then we went to. I went and Sam Healy called me over. I played a game of that 25th century game, the Razzia, with Sam, and then I end up playing a game of a very long game of Sea of Legends with Z Garcia and Camilla. So really, just a host of people from the Dice Tower that have entertained me. I couldn't be more thankful. And Dan was technically part of the Dice.
Unfortunately,
Dan,
yeah.
I haven't got to feel a lot of Dan because Dan, I don't know if you noticed. So he is a part-time designer. I know you because so he designed with one of your siblings a game that was, made her the core
star of the show. Yes, really, yeah.
She the most profitable child.
Yeah.
He's now working on another game, this mixtape, or I made you a mixtape.
Yeah, I think that's the actual term to avoid copyrights.
Yes. How do you feel about that? Because I would just assume that he would work and collaborate or collab, as Gabi would say, with you to produce a game as well.
Well, I think I've game tested it more than anyone ever should have to game test a game in their entire lives. I wouldn't say I'm sick of the sight of it, but it would if I had to play it again today. It's a bit of a struggle, especially when I've seen it about 1,000 times. But one thing I will say is, my God, is it a hit?
It is a hit.
Everyone's playing it.
I can say without reservation, Jason Levine got a hold of it and loved it, and apparently was teaching people. Everybody I've seen play it has seemingly enjoyed it. I haven't played it yet. I don't know if I will, because I don't know if I'm afraid that if I play it and have any even the slightest of criticisms, it would devastate Dan. And so and plus Dan's very busy.
He can handle it. I reckon good old Jason Levine would give you a teach.
Well, I'm trying to find Chris Yee. He's the only Dice Tower member for which. Oh, Joey Evans. I forgot him. Joey Evans.
Played with Joey
multiple times. Joey's my new best friend. Just about. I mean, he's a magician.
Yeah, he's got a show on today.
He
at
does.
The time we're recording. Yeah, 2 p.m.
He's going to do a show.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it is, but
You're kidding me?
Yeah.
At 2?
Yep.
Okay, so we got some time.
We got some time.
I didn't know that. I myself am a I don't know, an amateur sleight of hand
Magician.
No, I won't say magician.
Oh, is that?
Well, no,
that's
magician
too strong of a word.
Well, magician's like it's like something. Sleight of hand seems more appropriate.
Yeah,
because magician is like people think, oh, it's so mystical or something. When everybody, once you know, once you've seen it, you've seen it. And like Joey, I see he's always wearing long sleeves.
Yeah,
you notice that with the French cuffs.
No, I haven't thought about it, but now you're saying it. Yeah.
I wonder if that's not.
That's why you won all those games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's something to that. But so we'll go see his show here probably in a little bit. I'm trying to think what else we had today. What else have we done that's been? Oh, the key lime pie. You ate pie.
I ate key lime pie for the first time. I will say, not impressed. The mango one was nice, but this is meant to be the pinnacle. Tom seems to think it's like some sort of Mount Olympus of key lime pies. So if this is the best you've got to offer, I've got to say it could be a lot better.
Are pies a big deal in Britain?
It depends what you're talking about though, because our definition is probably different.
It is,
because we do meat pies galore.
So we don't have any meat pies.
No meat pies.
We don't do meat pies.
Oh yeah, there's an American character in a bit, not a niche, but a bit of a niche comic called Dandy.
Dandy?
Yeah, he's called Desperate Dan. And he's a rootin' tootin' cowboy, and all he eats is these big longhorn pies with this massive antler sticking out of it. So I was under the impression you guys were the meat and potato pie kings.
I don't know.
No,
it's like your pies are like we have fried pies, which are like cakes.
We got like apple pies,
like that. But you're talking about like the same principle, but having meat inside. It's like a
not I wouldn't say fried.
It's like a
pastry.
Yeah, it's like a calzone, basically.
Yeah.
No, we. I mean, we have those, but it's not like a.
But yeah, it's in a pie shape.
But like key lime pie is to in Florida what pumpkin pie is to like Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Do y'all have Thanksgiving?
We have pumpkin pie.
But
we don't have Thanksgiving. No.
You don't, do you?
No.
Because y'all didn't come over on a boat. You didn't come over and take. So the Saxons and
Saxons they did like a bit of a summer solstice kind of thing, but I don't think they did.
That's the rocks outside of London.
Yeah, no.
the Stonehenge.
Yeah, Stonehenge. Yeah, that's got to do with all paganism and stuff like that. We have all that, but we've kind of moved on past that in the 700 years we've been a country.
But the Normans come over too.
Yeah, they did come over.
And they're like French.
Yeah, all they did was rename things.
They did. But so y'all don't have a celebration? Nothing? There's no pagan pie celebration?
No, I mean, we weren't particularly happy with the French having a victory over us, to be fair. So I don't think it's very hard celebrated. It's a hard one to take.
It's hard long, yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 times now.
I mean, maybe that's why the key lime pie doesn't mean as much to you.
Yeah.
Because... See, we've got the pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving, and then Florida, I believe, we purchased from the French or the Spanish. I think Spanish. So the key lime, every time America buys something or takes something from somebody, we have a pie that symbolizes that occasion.
It's a nice memento, isn't it?
There's apple pie, is just the generalized American pie.
Yeah, that's the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the generic. If we're just going to celebrate something, we just have a pie. The key lime pie reminds us of Florida and the Keys. We got pumpkin pie. That's Thanksgiving. Pecan or pecan pie.
Yeah.
Pecan pie is where I'm from. That's the South.
Oh, that's the
That is-
OKC, man.
That is the pie of the South. That is the pie that reminds us
What
of
is a pecan pie?
pecan.
Yeah, pecan.
That's pecan.
I wouldn't
Okay.
say so.
So-
what did you say first?
Well, I said
let's
pecan.
Let's roll back
I
the
said
tape.
pecan, but it's not pecan.
Well, someone's
no,
wrong
it's,
then,
it's a
isn't it?
pecan.
No,
So pecan trees.
arguable.
Have you ever cracked a pecan?
I don't think it's warm enough to grow them.
You don't
I
have
guess,
pecans.
I think I have, yeah.
Okay, well,
Is it like a Brazil nut or is it?
similar. In the South, there's pecan trees, and everybody gets buckets and buckets and go out and just collect pecans.
I
And
apologise if any British listeners are screaming at me for not knowing what a pecan is.
Well, there's just not that many. Well, I mean, I don't know if y'all would have them over there.
We do lots of tarts, which are a bit like mini pies.
Oh, yeah, those are the baby. Yeah.
Yeah, we do mini pies.
Why
We
is
don't
it called a
really
tart?
do-
Isn't that a slang term for?
for something? Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it's a rather unfortunate phrase, I guess. But I don't know. It's just tart is also a word for like sour.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the fruit being sour.
Well, pecans are not sour.
No, I'm
They're-
talking about tarts.
Okay. Well,
This is England, baby.
I've met some sour tarts myself. But there's German chocolate pies,
Yep.
which are kind of like a northern thing.
Yep.
That's kind of a Yankee pie, whereas the pecan pie is more of a Confederate or Southern thing.
Yep.
So yeah, blueberry is kind of a.
The one that interests me the most is pecan. I think I had the what was it? What did we have on the first day? Someone brought in the there was a pecan one of them, and I like that.
The cookies?
No, was it strudel? It was something like that.
I don't know.
Those it was little. They had icing on them.
Where did you?
Outside the convention.
Oh
hall.
yes,
Yeah, you remember.
yes. Those. I didn't get those. I didn't see them.
Okay.
She did have cookies.
There was a cherry one.
They
begin with S.
No, it might. No, I don't think they were strudel.
No, they weren't strudel.
It was not scones.
No, definitely not scones.
I don't know. I didn't see them.
Yeah.
When I got there, they were just cookies. But there is an ominous box of cookies that appears sometimes outside the Dice Tower Retreat Library, where it's just a sign saying, "Here, free cookies." I have 8 from that box. I know it sounds weird.
Now you've got nails in your digestive tract.
I know it's weird, but you just trust the people there because everybody.
Then you swiftly went into the Dice Tower van looking for puppies.
Well, yes, we took we were going to take the Dice Tower van.
Oh, then Tom didn't want to move the seat.
You didn't want to move the seats.
No, I was looking forward to it.
I could think of nothing better than riding with 8 grown people in the Dice Tower van, which is all painted up to go to some barbecue place.
Only reason I came to this godforsaken country was I got the promise of the Dice Tower van.
But
That's what I was here for.
We might go out there and look at it later. But otherwise,
Yeah.
yep, this has been a fantastic time. If I had to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, you've been to other conventions, right?
I've been to UK Games Expo and then Aircon Northwest and Aircon, and then I've also been to a smaller one in like the Oxford region called something irrelevant.
They probably all suck, and compared to this.
I will say, if people have never been to an Aircon in the UK, an Aircon is incredibly friendly, and this just feels like an Aircon but 4 days. 5 days, sorry. An Aircon's usually over a 3-day period, but no, I think the advantage of this one is that you're staying in the area with the games.
Yep.
So you're constantly just running back and forth, doing all sorts of stuff you want, and then you're always right there in the action.
Yeah, this is because it all takes place in one large, quiet room here at the retreat.
Oh, it's lovely.
And there's about 300 people, and everybody just kind of knows each other, and it's just I've almost gotten to where I think I know BGG is quite a large event, and I'm just thinking about the feeling I get from that and this. It's totally different.
So you're saying that the invites is what makes it great.
Yes, because I think
so. Then you get rid of all the people who haven't been invited, such as get rid of all the tat. Yeah, trim the fat.
It's just that the people that are here have been. It feels like the elite.
I'm saying, yeah, and look who isn't here. You know what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, the people who don't put forth the effort. You'll find Evan in life. You'll find that And your dad can speak to this
Yep.
as a legend himself. You know, a man of great taste and of
Won't go that far.
nice enough to let me sleep on his couch. You have to put yourself out there and be willing to take risks. That's really what this is about. I mean, when you look at your father, do you think that he's the type of man that would ever thought to himself, you know, I'm gonna publish my own board games and then fly to America and shill that out to everyone there? And he's a man of great fortitude, is what I'm saying, and resolve, and thus that's why he gets invites to things like this. And this is much more calming than BGG.
Yeah.
Much more calming. There's not a lot of, I don't know.
Is BGG a bit like Gen Con?
No, it's very much like this, but with like 3,000 people.
So it's a playing con.
There's events and there's stuff going on, and it's more exciting for that. But
yeah.
there's straight up just games here.
I mean, I suppose with the whole event side of things, there's been a couple. I've been involved in the biggest one in terms of the Last Light game, and I do think that there's definite value to the mega game kind of scene. I think it's brilliant. I think having so many people like competing together, it's a great cause.
Well, you need to come to do BGG one year. It's just flying to Dallas. You don't have to try. It's just spring, BGG spring.
Man, if you're saying this is too cold for you, this is a bit light weather, then I don't think I can handle Texas.
No, Texas, there'll be BGG springs in May.
No, okay.
It'll be like 110 degrees.
All right, so
You'll be sweating.
It's about 40 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, I don't do metrics numbers, but yeah.
Yeah, you don't do the good ones.
How many yards is that? Yeah. So see, yeah, you come there.
About 24.
Dan's never been to Texas.
No, I don't think so. He's been to Colorado, and he's been to Chicago, and he's been to New York, and he's been in.
No, he's on the big places. He needs to come big.
Chicago isn't that big, is it?
Oh yeah, Chicago.
Yeah, in terms of touristy though.
No, they got a lot of shootings there.
Oh, okay.
Dallas is the place to go. He needs to come to Texas.
I was told Texas is an empty hole full of nothing.
Well, I sometimes say harsh things when I've been drinking, but yes, there's not a lot there in terms of like trees and things. There's not
the scale.
The state itself is not a lot to look at. It's certainly no Oklahoma where the wind comes sweeping. You know, but anyways, well, we got to get off here. We're going to go see Joe. This is basically just content for Gabi, because Gabi wanted me to shoot. I promised him I would shoot an episode. And what is your middle? I said I'd shoot an episode with Dan Hughes.
Yep. Or me.
Or
and me.
And you. So technically, what's your middle name?
Malcolm.
Oh, that's not going to help. I thought I could get away with it. Be like, oh, I thought I was confused. Which Hughes?
No.
But it works out. I shot an episode with a Hughes.
Yep.
And I think this is your first podcast episode.
I've featured in one Sparkly Board podcast episode.
Okay, well that doesn't get. But you're your Twitch streamer. Do you have Evan IO? Oi.
Yep.
Yep, I did it right. Evan _
Oi.
IO, which is
OI,
which is oi, which means like a call to get
shout at
attention.
someone.
Yes.
Yep.
That's my favorite. That's Australian, isn't it?
Oi? No, it's pretty British.
Pretty
yeah.
British. Okay, I thought that was a.
I mean, they might say it over there, but it's not exclusive.
I found out. Your father told me privately last night. I got a Guinness in him, and he starts talking. He is half Australian.
Yeah, with a kooky story to back.
Yes, but is like half Australian?
My grand's super Australian. She's got the accent. She's been there. She lived there for like most of her life. Yeah, is that not public knowledge?
No, I don't think so.
No, he's got a citizenship, I believe,
with Australia.
Yeah, but we don't have it because we're second generation.
Oh, that explains so much because his attitude is one of he's got the proper British kindness, but then that Australian.
I don't know where you've seen the proper British kindness from. He sent out a public call for my gaming execution.
That is true. So yeah, Dan did tell everybody at the con not to let Evan win anything.
To completely whoop my ass.
Yes, that's what he said, and it was.
And now people keep on forfeiting their entire game to make me lose.
Well, yes, some.
And a certain Jerry keeps on keeps on going, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we all colluded to make everyone lose in the last turn?
That's your best impression.
No, I probably could do a better one,
All right,
but I had no
do
preparation.
another one.
Okay. Well, give me a phrase.
Or you can do Gabi.
I can't. I don't think I could do a
Or
Gabi.
Enrique. I can't do Enrique.
No, Enrique doesn't talk.
He just makes noises. Let me think of a phrase. What is a phrase I generally say? That's interesting.
That's interesting.
That's a pretty good impression.
Yeah, I'm talented. What can I say?
We're going to get you to fill in for me next time. Dan, you and Gabi can fill in.
Okay.
Dan's not around. All right, well, we got to go see Evan's, Joey Evans' show. And this counts as the content for which I promised the host of the Board Game Snobs, Gabi. I'm the thing that's missing from this con is him.
Yeah.
If I could have convinced him to get on a plane and come with me, it would have been great. But unfortunately, next time, we'll see if we can't. We may have to just drive.
Yeah, maybe.
We may just drive. We may just carpool.
What's that, like 15 hours?
I get here about 15, 20. Depends if Bubba drives. If Bubba drives us, we can get here.
3.
Yes. Bubba, yeah, he's on it. So we can figure that out. We bring Enrique with us. Enrique, he fits in wherever. That'd be a great experience. So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for us. And this is Jerry.
This is Evan.